Hi, my name is Majella Kelly. I'm from Tuam, but coming to Cork always feels like coming home because I went to college here, so it's very special to me. Thanks to Patrick Cotter for the opportunity. I think I wore him down sending him poems every year. And she said I better give her a slot, she's not going to go on. And thanks to James for his impeccable admin skills. This poem that I want to read first is set here on the Grand Parade, so I thought it was very fitting. It was when they took down the Capitol Cinema across the road. It kind of affected me disproportionately. I stood there for ages looking at the empty space where it used to be. Now there's a new building, but it felt like the end of an era or something. So this poem happened, and it's called Portrait of the City with Mastectomy. The city is a woman, and I almost can't look. Someone has torn asunder her red and white dress, which was the gigantic for sale sign, taken a scalpel to her skin, which was the facade of the Capitol Cinema and Grand Parade, cleaved flesh on the wall of her chest, which are red bricks and grey mortar, clamped a rib spreader on either shoulder, which are Tom Murphy's dress bar and a late-night pharmacy. In order to hold back organs and tissue, which are dumper trucks, piles of rubble, and a team of men in hard hats and high-visibility vests. Nobody should be able to see right through the lungs of the city like that, as if through the gaping backside of a surgical gown, as far as Patrick Street, whose buildings are a row of vertebrae that boats once navigated, and where pedestrians now bustle, as if nothing remarkable has happened. Human eyes weren't meant to probe the dark alveoli of abandoned rooms in the Oyster Tavern from here, inspect the archery of Market Lane, or witness the scaffolding and steel girders holding up the old meat market like surgical instruments. Black plastic bandages flap in the wind, amplifying the persistent coughing of pneumatic drills. And all of a sudden, there's Auntie Anne on a red velour seat, hovering in a ghostly confetti of ticket stubs. 2 shillings and 6pence she paid to sit up there in the balcony. Now the yellow scoop of a digger is my mother's hand, manoeuvring a final silk-cut purple to her lips, while the city holds the blue arm of a crane across her breasts to hide her scars. This next poem is called Anadromous Vocabulary, and I better explain what anadromous is, because I didn't know myself before I started writing the poem. And it's those fish, it's the name given to those fish like salmon and trout that can adapt to salt water, so they can live in fresh and salt water. And I just thought, if you use words and they become meaningless somehow, if you could somehow get them adapt to a new environment, wouldn't it be great? So this poem is called Anadromous Vocabulary. It's broken into 3 parts. 1. The words are wilted, clammy in my hand as a bad handshake. I toss them in the curb, watch them drop to the riverbed like mayfly eggs. A fingerling flips to face the current, stills in its rippling grip, waiting for what the river might bring her, and swallows it all, the insect nymphs, the mollusks, the vowels and the consonants. 3 little syllables ease through her gills. They silver, become anadromous, develop a tolerance for saltiness. Take us with you, they whisper, and she does. 2. Salmon know when it's time to come back to attend the regatta of the Dun's newly exposed wings. They also know how to climb ladders. Onlookers gather to watch them take to the air, ejaculatory as prayers, because a single drop of home in a million gallons of seawater is erotic to them as the breath of a lover. For this particular fish, it is the limestone, the lichen of St. Michael's Well. It is the sperm of freshwater pearl mussels below the falls. It is the shed feathers of the local heron and the landing dance of the cormorant, where the persistent tongue of the river laps at the lake. She makes for the sweet spot, where the pink-tipped stamen of the hawthorn fondles the water, inhales its almond pollen. 3. May Day dawns, and she is barely a glimmer in a quiet pool near the riverbank, wary of the fisherman. My dropped words have softened and polished in her gullet, the way waves mend sharp edges of sea glass. Soon she will open her mouth for the fly you have tied. Listen for the soft splush of I love you as she leaps in the dark. And speaking of sea glass, myself and my son spent a lot of summers down in Oyster Haven, and when he was small he used to love to collect sea glass. And one day he found this particular piece of sea glass with a little bubble of air inside it. And this poem is called Sonnet for the Glass Blower. Look, ma, mermaid tears, he says, hands overflowing with sea foam, cobalt and honey amber glass fragments, sharp edges wave mended, but new skins etched with tiny seas, like echoes of a shipwreck's quiet sobbing. This one from Pirate's Cave is my favourite. He lifts it to the sun to show me why. The bubble inside reminds me of searching a fetal scan for a heartbeat. A bottle of milk of magnesia once. It's been holding the glass blower's breath in its belly since blown into life. I thumb its smooth curve, the way you would a bottom lip. The dimple of air, blue and still in its small glass womb. And my final poem is called Cortege to Omi Island as umbilical cord. Omi is a tidal island off the coast of Clifton, and when there's a burial there, the cars come from the mainland in a procession, and it's something remarkable to see. And its last permanent resident died there in 2017, Pascal Whelan. You should look him up, he was a remarkable character, a retired stuntman. And so I wrote this poem about his funeral. Cortege to Omi Island as umbilical cord. You have been a receptacle for the dead for as long as anyone can remember. But when a vein of cars issues from the churchyard on the mainland across the strand at low tide, I consider you more womb than tomb. Your graveyard a belly button tethered to the funeral cortege. Your coastline feeble, its crown rump length of pink quartz equal to this mile-long cord of nutrient-rich bodies coming back to be buried in a place where they were born, so heavy with descendants, its tidal waters keep breaking, pushing bones back up from the sand, swaddled in blankets of low-growing time. Thank you very much.